Hello and welcome to this game tutorial. We are together going to develop a game which is actually a Cannonball game. We will be able to uh, put on the Google Cardboard interface, which is the Google VR, and we want to be able to shoot towards some target like this, and when the target gets hit, it gets destroyed. So this is a simple game. Later on we want to add some more text also over here, which gives us the count of the cannonballs we have fired, and also going to the different level, and also maybe having some timer functionality within this. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna create a new project which is going to be identical to this one, and we will also try to improve it. So I'm gonna call it Cannonball 2, and the code of this is I've distributed to my students already, but I'm gonna write this from scratch with you guys here again. So let me just pull over game over here so I can design my scene quickly. So first thing I'm going to create is I go to create game object, 3D object, and create a cube first of all. So I'm going to use this as my terrain, but this is not strictly a terrain. Why? Because it doesn't have all the advanced features of terrain, having like grass and shape and height, smoothness, textures, etc. I'm gonna keep it simple. So I just press R to resize it. I'm gonna make it bigger so it looks like a plane, and I'm going to switch from wireframe to the shaded mode so I can actually see the shade or the color of my floor. So I'm going to just name it floor. I click on it once and I change it to floor. Here I'm going to create some folders to organize my project. One is for materials, and then the second one is for prefabs, and the third one is for scripts. Okay, there you go. So in the material, I'm going to create material for my floor. So I'm going to call it floor material or floor mat. I'm going to change it to some color I see visually pleasing, or any other color you like. And then I'm going to create another object here called cannon, and this time it's a cube cannon. And where exactly is the cube? It's somewhere here. Let's press W or the move tool to bring it up. Okay, sorry, pardon me, I need this not as a cube, I need this as a sphere, because cannon is a sphere normally. So cannon, and also it should be having a material. So I go to the materials folder and create material for this one also. Normally the cannonball material, this is cannonball material. Did I miss ball here? Cannonball material is normally dark, so I choose some dark color for it. Yeah, and I apply it on the cannonball. I'm not sure where my cannonball is. Let me just click here and bring it up. Yeah, there you go. So cannonball should be placed on this. Now this is supposed to be dark color. Yeah, you can even change the color later on as long as you've applied it on the object you intend it to be applied on. Let's just zoom in to see its color is dark actually. Now let's um, make this more darker. Yeah, okay. So that's my cannon. Cannonball, and my main camera is actually Canon. Please don't get confused. I also keep getting confused when I say this. The main camera is the cannon which will actually be firing, and the cannonball is the ball which is going to be fired. It will be instantiated and fired. Now let's save this. This is scene 1 or game, whatever you want to call it. Now the cannonball is actually something which can hit something, so we need to add a component over here, and let's search for rigid body. So this is now a rigid body, and when you play it, you're going to see that it actually drops down. So it depends where your camera is right now. The camera is actually below, so just bring it up so I can see this. Yeah, so it drops down because it's a rigid body. There's a lot of features within the cannonball which we want to create for the cannonball. and that is that this should be instantiated. So when you click on your mouse, it should automatically be created, number one. Number two, it should be shot towards your target, so, meaning in Unity terms, you should be able to add force to it. Number three, it should be able to destroy the target. Number four, it should self-destruct, meaning it should automatically destroy itself after 10 seconds. So you don't need 100 or 200 or 300 cannonballs in our game. So it should be able to destroy itself automatically after 3 seconds. So we'll put a timer on this. So let's implement these four functionalities on this after we finish our designing a game. So in designing, what is left is creating the target. So let's create the target first. So this is the target, is actually inside the target walls, and inside the target walls there is, first of all, there is a cube. Okay, so let's see where it is. It is down, so you don't move the cube individually. You select the whole wall and bring it up, the whole target wall, bring it up, place it somewhere in the on top of the floor. Okay, yes, and now I'm gonna press R to resize it. I need a rather sleek one, not a very thick target walls. Okay, so this is the cube I'm resizing within the target walls. So let me just make it a little longer. Made it a little longer. Okay, and now I'm gonna do is I am gonna press Command D on Windows, or Command D on Apple, or Control D on Windows, and duplicate this and place it just perpendicular. And this Command D again and place it somewhere here, and I'm gonna rotate this on Y by 90. Oh, it's not, it's Y, so let's try this. Also not working, so on X is the rotation I need. So just a second, I need rotation on this along the y-axis. What's the problem rotating it along the y-axis? Oh, okay, it did rotate along the y-axis. Okay, I brought it back to where it is, or it was before, and I wanted actually to, okay, it's actually sort of wasting time, so let's create this again. So I need another cube here. I'm gonna resize this also. But the other direction. Okay, that is actually, I need to make sure it is fitting this area, and it's actually not absolutely necessary also. We're just making it to suit our design, whatever we have in our mind, how my game should be looking like. And then I'm gonna duplicate it and place the other side, and that's my my target walls. Okay, so I've got these target walls inside. I don't need to name them, although what I can do is I can create a material for them. So let's say I create a material here. Well, I need to do that anyway, so this is for target walls material, and also change its color, give it something different now this time, and I give it to my cubes or here directly. Make sure you keep saving your work. File save. And now inside this I need to put in a sphere, and that is the sphere which should be a rigid body, which I should be allowed to hit and score. So I right click 3D object and sphere, or maybe you can do a cylinder also if you like. Oh, it's very clumsy. Tell you what I'll do, I'll go with this capsule. Okay, So that's my capsule. Let's put it inside the target. Yes, make sure it's inside the target wherever it is. What if I make this 0 0 0 0 0 0? So it's in relation to the target, it's 0 0 0, and I bring it here. Now make sure it's not going down, and also I'll create another material for this. This is my target material, and let's change its color to something like more reddish, which is actually my target. It's sitting there. I need to add I need to change its name, make it target, add component rigid body, so that I can actually see this being hit. Okay, there it is, and this is my rigid body. Now what I need to do is, because my camera is Canon and this is the Cannonball, I need to produce these cannonballs time and again as soon as I do the click. Okay, so make sure I save this, and on this I need to add several functionalities as I mentioned in the beginning. First of all, I will have it destroy itself automatically in 10 seconds. So let's create a script. I go to the scripts folder, right click, create C# script, and I say destroy after seconds. So that's the name I give the script to. I actually want to destroy something after 10 seconds. So whatever I applied this on, it will destroy after 10 seconds automatically. Okay, so first of all, I want to create a variable. I'm going to call it public int or float, because we're going to be counting the seconds. And I say destroy after how much. So let's call it maybe 10.0f. And in the update, what I'm going to do is I say destroy after minus is equal to time dot delta time. So whatever the time is passed, just reduce the total time. So now we're going to check if the destroy after, which is the actual time, is less than 0. So destroy after 1 second, destroy after 0. We say it's less than equal to 0. If it's equal to 0 or less than 0, please destroy what? Destroy myself. So I'll say destroy game object with a small g, which is myself, not capital G. Capital G is when you're creating a variable and you want to give it a class name. So this is destroy after seconds, and I want to destroy the cannonball after like 10 seconds. So I drag and drop this here, and let's see what happens to the cannonball. So it starts 1 2 3 4. Oh, it's showing us here destroy after, continuously being updated, 3 2 1, and gone. Yeah, that's good. It's gone from the project also. So that's what we want to do, but we want to instantiate it. So in order to instantiate this, we need to create a prefab out of this. Prefab is what? A copy of this. And the good thing about prefab is you can delete them and you can instantiate them again and again, in which case you see it becomes blue, meaning it's a prefab. It's not just a 3D object anymore. It's a prefab which has its own characteristics, maybe physics inside. As we know, there's rigid body inside, scripts inside, and we need to extend its behavior more. So it should not only just destroy, it should also be instantiated. Who will instantiate it? The camera, which is the Canon. So right now the Canon is a camera which will instantiate it. So let's create a script for the Canon which will actually instantiate. C# script, a script for Canon which will actually instantiate my Canon. So what I'm gonna do is, because this is my Canon script, in this script I will be actually referring to several other variables. Let's start by creating the reference to what I want to instantiate. So I want to instantiate public game object with capital G. As I said, when you instantiate or when you do the object reference, you use capital G. and I say I know I need to instantiate Cannonball. Okay, and with what force is what is also important. So let's say public, call it int force. Let's make this 200. We want to instantiate this and we'll add 200 onto it. In the update, now you will check that if something has been clicked. So I say if input dot get mouse button down, and which mouse button down, let's say fire 1, or you can also do this from the keyboard. Input dot get key down, you're gonna say which key. So I say input dot get key down, can we get key code dot F. Okay, capital F. If that happens, if somebody presses F or fire 1, then do what? Do the instantiation. So this is what we'll do. So we will instantiate the Cannonball prefab. So how do we instantiate? You know, instantiate is the syntax. Instantiate what? This Cannonball prefab. So I say Cannonball instantiate Cannonball. That's all. It will instantiate a Cannonball, but we just don't want to instantiate. We want to also modify its position and add rotation, etc. So we can, it's good to actually get a reference for it. So I'll say game object Cannonball. We have the prefab there already, so let's say Cannonball obj is equal to instantiate Cannonball. Excuse me, this is game object with capital O. So once you've got the reference, Cannonball obj dot transform, change its position to where my position is, which means the camera's position is equal to transform dot position. So I say its position is what my position is, meaning camera's position, and then I'm gonna add force to it in whichever direction I'm looking at, my direction. So I'll say Cannonball object dot get component, meaning get its component, which is called rigid body. You know, we can get it like this, and you can get the reference rigid body and add force to it. So add force. What kind of force? The force which makes it move forward. Who's forward? Balls forward, or the walls forward, or who's forward, or which objects forward? So we know cameras forward, so we'll say transform dot forward multiply by which force? This force. Yeah, so now when you press the key F or you press the fire 1 button, we have the ball created and it'll be fired. So there are compiler errors. What's the error? From string to integer. We'll get mouse button down, fire 1, or and we'll get key, say space. When you press space, it hits. Oh, we didn't apply it anywhere, so that's the problem. Let's fix that. So we need this script to be applied on the Canon, which is the camera itself. Okay, and before we run this, we need to tell that which is the actual Cannonball which it should be instantiating. So do we have Cannonball here? No, we don't. So it's inside the prefabs. We just created the prefab. So let's go to Canon, and it is asking us to provide a Cannonball. So we provide a Cannonball. This is what I want you to instantiate when I press F or something else. Yeah, so when I press F, it is being created. You see, in the scene it goes, and then it goes somewhere else. If you think it's a little bigger, you can just go to the Cannonball prefab and scale it to 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5, and all the new Cannonballs will be smaller. Press F and you will know this better. Okay, they've all actually dropped down somewhere. They're going down, they're all dropped down, and notice they'll all self-destroy after 10 seconds. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make this a a little bigger, the floor a little bigger, so I can actually see it following on the floor. Cannonball, and it's being shot at. Now the next thing I want to do is to destroy. Obviously this target has rigid body, and I want to add constraint on it so that it is fixed to wherever it is and it doesn't get moved or flying in the air. Secondly, I want to add a tag to it, so when I hit this with my cannonball, it should be check that which tag does it have, and then we will destroy it. So let's add a tag here and we call it target. You click away somewhere and come back and you will see it has this target tag. Give that target tag and it should be there. Now this should be actually also prefabbed, so I will go to my prefab and I'll make the target as a prefab. Okay, so this is my target and it has this target prefab. So all the new targets will also be having target prefab. So do I instantiate it? No, I don't, but I'm going to copy the whole target walls and place it at many places. So I've got that basic functionality now, but I need to now destroy it. And also I need to have the Google VR project. So I'm gonna go to my find and I'll say Google VR for Unity. That's the package you want to download from developers.google.com/vr/unity, and just double click it as soon as it is downloaded and it will come into your game. Okay, import all. Once you import all, it will come into the assets folder, and we need to update the camera. We need to drag the camera, the Google VR camera, and place it over here. Okay, so yeah, finally we are there. So let's search for GVR viewer main prefab. Drag and drop this in your project hierarchy, and when you play this, you'll see the camera has been changed. If you press alt, you can look right, left, up, down, etc. So that's my GVR viewer, and it's positioned somewhere here according to this, but where the Canon is here. So when you play it, it changes its position automatically and moves to wherever the camera is. Oh yeah, F doesn't work, sorry, I keep on pressing F or somewhere else or some other button. So this works and it goes there. Okay, so what if I look a little up and I press F? Again, it doesn't go there. A little up and I press F. Okay, what I can do is I can change this to maybe 500 here and then try. So I change this to 500. Yeah, somewhere near. So let's try hitting it. Can we? Although we don't have any scripts. Okay, that was close. Maybe a little up so it actually lands inside. Yeah, it lands inside and hits it, but it is not going out because I locked its position. You see the if I go under the prefab and show you my target, the target's positions have been locked, but whenever a key code, which is keycode.f, is detected, then it will fire. However, since I have the cardboard display also, I want to write this: if gvr viewer dot instance dot triggered. When you actually wear that device, and then within that device, if you trigger, then also you will be able to instantiate the cannonballs and you can move forward. Those balls will be moving forward and actually be shooting towards the target. Now how can I limit that I only need 10 balls? I'm only allowed only 10. Okay, so if I'm only allowed 10, then let's do that. So I'm gonna say public int max cannonballs is equal to um, initialize it with 0 in the start. Whenever this game starts, make it 10 again. Max cannonballs is equal to 10, meaning whenever you come back on this level, you will get new 10 balls. And after, whenever this is shot, you say cannon max cannonballs plus plus, meaning you increased once. That you counted, first time you counted 1, the second one you counted 2, and then 3 and 4, etc. However, you also check over here that if max cannonballs is less than 10, only then you want to start instantiating. So we have a nested if over here which says if max cannonballs is less than 10, only then you produce this. Okay, so less than or equal to, you want to do less than or equal to 10, only then you have some extra some shots fired. So let's do that. I just pressed this and I have 1 2 3. Did I press this? I need to be pressing, oh, less than equal to 10 and max cannonballs plus plus. If I press F, so it should happen only once. If I press F, and it is actually preventing me to create any more. Oh, I initialize with 10. I should be initializing it with only 1. I'm sorry about that. So let's do that quickly. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and now no more. Okay, yes. So second thing I want to do is I change this from 200 to 500, so it's more powerful now. Press Alt to move around. F, yeah, F, and it's still very far. What if I change this to 1000, or maybe let's make it 700. So initial force. Okay, so I press F, still very far. F, still very far. Okay, so let's go to Canon and change this over here from, oh, it's still 200. It shouldn't be 200 anyway, so I am actually changing that. We'll change that. Yes, it should be 700. So let's change that to 700. Yeah, that's like it. Well, you can change this during the game also. Now what we want to do is we want to destroy it. So let's go to the destroy part. There's another script which we need to create under the script, and we will call it Cannonball. So create C# called Cannonball script. Please remember all scripts have capital first letter, and then in this we will create a void on collision enter function, which is O, C and E capital, and inside this there is collision object coming up, and we're gonna call it call, or so we don't get confused. And let's start this function and close it. Now inside this function, what happens is we want to check if I collide with the target. So how I'm gonna select, you see the target has a tag, target tag, so that's what I'm gonna check against. So if call dot collider dot tag is equal to, I'm going to call it target, this target, yeah, I compare it with that, only then you do what? You destroy who? The target. Destroy call dot game object, so we destroy it. So let's try doing that. As soon as we hit it, we destroy it. So let's do that here. I'm gonna change that to 700. Go to Canon. 700. Yeah. Oops, it did not destroy. It should destroy. Let's see, does it have a... This target is what we hit at, and that target has rigid body. What about my cannon? This is my cannon. The cannonball also has rigid body, yes. Okay, so I need to be applying this on my prefabs. So I go to my prefabs. I have this cannonball. It doesn't have any uh, destroying script which actually destroys the target. We should just go to add scripts and select that script which we just created, which is actually the cannonball. So the cannonball script is the one we wrote now, which will be destroying the target. So make sure we save everything and let's run this. Okay, and now this should be from the cannon. This should be 700, 600, whatever I update. Okay, it hits it directly and it is gone. It's destroyed. Now let me go back here under scripts and I say this is my cannon, and I indeed change that to 700. Maybe it's taking some time to update. I am not very sure about that. Okay, so this was about destruction of a target. Now let's move forward, and in my cannon I'm gonna create a 3D object, and it's actually 3D text. So the 3D text I create here is gonna be here, and I say shots fired. So let's see if I can see this clearly. Okay, now clearly I need to be positioning it. So I'm going to change the text over here to middle, assign alignment also middle, and change the font size to 100 like that, and make this a little far, let's say 30. So when I play this I should be able to see this clearly. It's a little very close. I'm going to change this to, let's say, 70. Yeah, that's about right, or maybe 80. So I'm gonna, if I change this now, it's not gonna be saved. So when I come out and I change this over here, it's changed. Yeah, okay, it's good. So new text, I change this to, I'm gonna rename this to shots fired. I thought I changed that to 80 already. Okay, so that's my shot fired. Now I want to go and update this into my my script, so that whenever a shot is fired I update this. Okay, so let's give it a reference. This is the shot fired, so I will have a script here. Okay, and let's call it game controller. And in the game controller, first thing I need is the text I created, a reference to the text I created. This should go away, red color. Okay, it's gone. So I'll say public, because I will drag and drop text mesh. Let's call it text mesh, and it's shots fired. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to change its text maybe. So let's say I'll change its text to um, shots fired. Okay, so this is what shots fired dot text is equal to shots fired and add to it a number, let's say 1. I fix that to 1 and let's play this now. So whenever it is there's an error in the script. Yeah, there is no bracket here. Okay, shots fired, and then I need to add this game controller script onto the cannon. So this is a game controller, and the text is this shots fired, shots fired, yes, 1. So I need to connect that variable with how many shots I've fired. So how am I actually firing shots? I'm firing shots here. I'm going to change this to public static int cannons fired is equal to 0 in the middle, in the beginning. Oh, I have this already, so I can change this to max cannonballs, public max cannonballs. So I'm gonna say cannon max cannonball, public cannon, I get a reference to that, and I say cannon dot max cannonballs will be here. Okay, so let's fire. Okay, it's not coming. Cannonball dot max cannonball. Max cannonballs is 0 right now. Public static maybe. Okay. Compiler has an error. Let's give it directly to the class. Ten, 11. Okay, so I need to just get rid of this because I made that static because I want the others also to access this. Shots fired cannon dot max cannonballs have been shot. Okay, the other thing is I want to also display game over. So I'll say if cannon dot max cannonballs is greater than 10 or okay is greater than then shots fired dot text should be game over. Okay, let's try that. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Game over, and I can also not fire now. Okay, this is one. Secondly, I also want these to be duplicated, so the game controller should also instantiate these. So I actually, you know what I do, I go to the prefab and I actually create the whole uh, target walls as a new object. So in the scripts, I go to the game controller script, and what I want to say is randomly create it at many places. Okay, so I'll say um, how many do I need? I say uh, public int, let's say I need 5. Okay, or yeah, okay, 5. So I say public int targets, max targets is equal to 5. Okay, and I say instantiate what, um, the target prefab. So let's create a reference to it, public game object target prefab, and because I want to instantiate this, instantiate target prefab. Okay, and where should I position it is important. So I say um,
Meeting with someone?
hello Hind, how are you? No,
Oh, okay, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding. I am okay. So what I want to do is I want to randomly instantiate the target prefabs um on the scene. So what I do is I go and create a cube here. I just created a cube and I just placed it, just right click 3D cube, I just did that, and I'll delete this later on. Why? Because I want to check what's the maximum and minimum values of these x, y and z. So I need to fix it to wherever this is on, as long as y is concerned, which is around 6, so I'll put it at 6, but x and y, x and z, I will make this random. So see, this one is 3 maximum, and this one is, I'll just keep it a little in, and this is, let's keep it minus 1.5. So I'm gonna go inside and say if it's more than 10, then I'll say game over. Otherwise I'll keep doing one thing, you know what, instantiating more target prefabs. So let's do that here. Otherwise I'll say instantiate this target prefab target prefab, and at what position is important. I want to say new vector 3. um, we need random position, and the rotation we don't mind, so we'll say um, transform dot rotation, any rotation, which is basically my rotation, camera's rotation. Now I'll fill this up with random x, random not range. X we just saw is what was it? I'll keep it at minus 1 point x to positive 3. So I'll say minus 1.5 to positive 3. Let's keep it 2.8, a little inside so it doesn't go outside. So this is random range for x, and then y I'll want to keep fixed to 6, and z also random dot range. Let's find out what's the z's random number. It should be maximum 10 and minimum, let's call it, oh we still have room, minimum 10, so minus, sorry, minus 10 to maximum 7. So let's delete this now. Random dot range minus 7 to maximum 10. Okay, now what we need to do is on Canon we want to say what is it that we want to instantiate randomly. So this is target walls, and I'm gonna drag and drop this here, target walls. So I think I just did it just now. I'm gonna do this to show you target walls. So this is the script reference target walls I need to be instantiating again. I think then I don't need this max targets prefab. Let's just remove this and play. There is an error. What does it say? um, target prefab new vector random. Okay, so I need to give this 0.0 and this also 0.0 because it is complaining about being floating point numbers. The best order method for random dot range has some invalid arguments. Which one? 5, 6, random dot range minus 7.0f to 10.0f, and this is actually closing the. I see. The whole vector 3, and this is the random range, and this is the random range. So this seems right. Okay, it's gone. Goes a little slow these days. Okay, so let's run this, and yeah, so it's creating those randomly at different places. But what I need to do is I don't need to continuously be creating that. Okay, I also need another random number here. So I'll say give me a random number between, let's say, 0 to 100, and I say whenever it's 2, I'm gonna instantiate int random num is equal to random dot range 0 to 100, and say whenever it is 2, I'll instantiate. If y2, come up with any logic because I don't want it to be continuously being created. So random num is equal to 2 or 3, then I'll instantiate. Otherwise, I will not instantiate. What? So yeah, this is unnecessary. Okay, so 0 to 100 is a random number it is generating. Whenever it is generating 2, it will instantiate. So let's just fire, and now this should be 700, not just this. Yeah, okay. You see now two um, were created of these. No, not these were not created. Okay, that's the one created, the target, and then let's hit the other one, and there you can see more are being created, which means whenever 2 is coming up, it's actually creating more of these. So I actually modified the script to just not allow me 10, allow me 100 to be fired. So yeah, I can now fire many more. I can now hit many more. Even though it says game over, it's still instantiate. So how we can fix that? Let's see. I want to fix and hit this one before I can go and instantiate. Yeah, okay, so sorry, before I can go and change the game over. So if cannon is more than 10, then you show game over, else you are allowed to instantiate. If it's more than 10, you show game over, else you are allowed to instantiate. Okay, so that shouldn't work. If it's more than, if max cannonballs is more than yeah, it's okay. What is max cannonballs? Let's go and see. Cannonballs is 0, so it's 1, and then I max cannonballs is plus plus, so I show max cannonball as 10. What I also need to do is I want to make sure if it is not greater than 10, then I should be allowed to instantiate. So I shouldn't be allowed to instantiate if it's more than 10. So it's displaying here game over. I instantiate, that's fine because I just changed to 100, but yes, you see now it is working. It's not actually also instantiating the target. No more targets are being instantiated. Okay, that's actually good. No more targets are being instantiated, so it's working. Then let's also do the hit. Okay, so if it's hitting successfully, we'll say it hit successfully. So we say public static int hit count is equal to 0, and if it is hitting it, then it will destroy, and also hit count plus plus. And here we will actually display the game controller. We'll also display shots fired this, and also shots fired dot text plus is equal to slash n, meaning new line, um, space, and then hits is equal to plus destroy after seconds dot, what was it? It was under destroy after seconds or cannonball, I think. Yeah, cannonball hit count. So I'm gonna update that. Cannonball dot hit count, how many were hit successfully. Okay, let's play that. Hits 0, shots fired 1. Okay, let me just go here, change this to 700 again. Okay, hits 1, and then hits 2, hits 3, game over. So I can now actually have more hits, but I don't see more targets are being created because the game is over. Yeah, okay, so that's good. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you liked it.